this Wrinkle in Time movie is. Huh. This looks promising. Oh, sweet. It's like a cross between Tomorrowland and Doctor Strange. It has big names in the cast like Oprah Winfrey and Chris Pine, and it's directed by the same person who directed Selma. Disney, you might actually be able to pull this off. What the hell? Critics are panning A Wrinkle in Time? It says it's got a 41% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's ridiculous. I mean, how bad could it possibly be? God damn it. Hey guys, JamesMCD here, back with another review, and today I'm going to be talking about A Wrinkle in Time, the live-action Disney adaptation based on the best-selling book that I haven't read because I'm an illiterate cunt. Now, I could go into detail about the plot of this movie, but that would take too long and be really boring, so I'm just gonna let Stardust James handle that. A Wrinkle in Time, a movie where Garnet, Pearl, and the Mindy Project take 3 child-sized mannequins on an adventure to find Steve Trevor and destroy the Nightmare King from Rise of the Guardians. At JamesMCD Reviews on Stardust. Okay, the real summary. So A Wrinkle in Time is about Meg. No, not that one. Yeah, that's the one. She unfortunately lost her father to a science experiment 4 years ago, and because of that, her attitude has changed vastly. She's become really shut off, she's violent, she doesn't do well in school, etc. But when 3... I'm just gonna call them gems because I don't really know what else to call them. But when 3 gems show up in her backyard to tell her that her father is not only alive, but is the prisoner of a dark force called the It. I wish. She must go on an adventure with her younger brother Charles Wallace and another kid, Calvin, to save the world and get her father back. Now I was really looking forward to this movie from the trailers. The trailers really got me interested. But then the reviews started coming out and I started seeing all this like negativity and all these like reviewers pretty much just bashing the movie, and were they right? Alright, before we go into what I didn't like about the movie, let's talk about the one thing that I did like, which were the visuals. The sets, the costume design, the effects, all of those were really cool. They were really nice and creative and colorful and whimsical, and honestly they were probably the only interesting thing about the movie, because the rest of it was just really bad. First thing I didn't like was the story. The story was very uninteresting and boring and really predictable, and there wasn't a single moment during this movie where I was invested, except for maybe one, but not for the right reasons. Yeah, it was just really uninteresting, and I feel like with this premise you could do some really cool stuff with it, but it was just nothing. It was just so generic and boring. Another thing that I had an issue with was that there's a lot of things in the movie that just don't make sense. And I mean, not like the crazy, like, out there whimsical type stuff, because that's the stuff that you would expect. You don't really want stuff like that to make sense. But, like, story and plot-wise, there's things about the movie that just don't work. Like, for example, the younger kid, Charles Wallace, it's established that he's been talking to these 3 gem-type women things for, like, weeks, because when they show up at the girl's house and they meet the mother and all of that, he already knows who they are. So, how has the mother and the older sister let this kid go around talking to strangers for, like, several weeks? Like, that doesn't add up. And also, when they finally do show up all together at the house, like, you would think that the girl and the other kid would be really surprised and confused and have this, like, big reaction, but they're kind of just like, wow. And, like, that's all. Like, seriously, if a giant Oprah Winfrey showed up at my house, actually I would kind of just, like, I wouldn't really be that impressed either. But still, like, I would have some type of, like, bigger, oh my god, what the hell is this type of reaction. So that was That was a little weird. Also, does time just not matter in this story? Because, like, when they go off with these 3 women, like, does time just stop? Is it like Doctor Who, where they can travel to any point in the world or in time and then come back and it'd be like no time has passed? Or just how does that work? Another thing that doesn't make sense is, why does the other kid, Calvin, go with them on this adventure? I mean, yeah, you could argue he's the love interest and he'll do pretty much anything to, you know, be with the older sister and impress her, but, like, he has no business in this whole adventure. He has no need to be here. So why does he go off with these 3 random women that he just met 5 seconds ago? And it just... the effects, while some of them were really, really good, others were really fake looking and really CG, like when Reese Witherspoon... God damn it. Like when Reese Witherspoon turns into a giant leaf and flies around, that was really kind of weird and fake looking and not very good. The biggest problems that I had with this movie, though, were the writing and the performances. And the writing, maybe that's the fault of the book. Like I said, I haven't read it, but if this is the type of dialogue that's in the book, maybe it's a good thing that I didn't read it. Because, like, and this leads into my next point, which is the performances suck. Like, the adults are kind of hit and miss, but good lord, the child actors. And you know, I don't like to bash child actors because they have a lot of pressure put on them for that age. And you know, sometimes they turn out okay. Like, the kids from Stranger Things and the kid from Wonder was fucking phenomenal, but good lord, these kids, like... And I don't know if it was just bad direction or bad writing or all of the above, but these are some of the worst performances I have ever seen. Like, they're just so unnatural. Like, you go into this movie, you hear them say any lines, and this is not how a normal kid talks. And yes, you could argue that in the book it's, like, supposed to be all whimsical and everything, but still, even taking that out of it, this is not how a kid talks. Like, I would not go around talking like that. However, there is one performance that, near the end of the movie, had me freaking rolling. And that is of the younger brother, Charles Wallace. There is a point in this movie, and I'm not going to give it away just in case, or for spoilers, but there's a point in this movie where his acting is just so over the top that it actually becomes hilarious. Like, I was hysterical whenever he would pop on screen anytime during the third act in this. Like, so, of all the performances, I think he was probably my favorite, but not because it was good, just because it was so over the top. Look, I know I'm being pretty harsh on this movie. I mean, this is a kids movie, and if you have kids and you're looking for something to take them to, like over spring break, although spring break will probably be over by the time you watch this, but if you're looking for a movie to take them to, they'll probably enjoy this okay, and you won't find it completely painful. But, like, the kids in my audience were enjoying it, but that's probably because they don't have the same, like, cynical mind that I've gotten. There were just so many things about this movie that I couldn't help but feel like they could have done better. Like I said, the visuals were really nice and pretty looking and colorful, but that isn't enough to make up for the terrible performances, uninteresting story, and all the plot points that just didn't make any sense whatsoever. Guys, this was a pretty disappointing one, and I'm really saddened to say that I'm gonna give A Wrinkle in Time a 2.5 out of 5. For no particular reason, here's me destroying a computer. thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I have a Hurricane Heist review coming up and a Shape of Water review, so look forward to those. And then next week will be Tomb Raider, so really excited for that. Again, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it. Be sure to subscribe, leave me a comment telling me what you thought of A Wrinkle in Time. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, because there I post all kinds of updates on what I'm doing, what movies I'm seeing, and I think that's about it. So thank you guys for watching. See you later.